Anywho, today we have the official drip marketing for Macqiato. So now we finally know what the next banner is gonna be. We don't know yet if this is gonna be, I mean, we assume Macqiato is coming up because they did the drip marketing. Last time they did that for, you know, Suomi. It was announced shortly after that she was gonna be on banner. So here we can pretty much expect that Macqiato is gonna be on banner as well. This is classic gacha game drip marketing, so we can expect that, right? Right now, currently, we only have her story drip marketing. Generally speaking, they end up also dropping like a kit explanation, but I'm gonna go over it before it's out because I feel like you might want to know exactly what she does, especially because it actually makes a lot of sense that she's dropping now. I was thinking that maybe Dushevnaya was gonna be the one to drop next because Dushevnaya is part of the story of the current events. I'm not gonna tell you in what fashion, but she's essentially involved to some extent. And I mean, I don't think this is big spoilers because she's literally on the picture of the event itself. So there you go. So exciting stuff. Very, very exciting that Macqiato is coming up next. First of all, I absolutely love her design. She kind of looks like a mix of Kafka and Dola. Please don't get mad at me. I don't know why there's something with the community. Every time Kafka or someone else gets mentioned, they're like, oh, but Makiatto came first because she was also in Girls Frontline 1. It's like, okay, calm down. We're not saying that she copied, just that she gives us vibe. And we like Kafka, so we can like Makiatto as well. It doesn't matter who came first. I just love Kafka. I really like Dola, so having a mix of the two makes me happy personally. I'm just praising the design. Okay, calm down. I'm not calling for plagiarism. Anywho, so Makiatto here looks absolutely fantastic. We're gonna check out what it's selling here in terms of what she likes, what she's into. So first of all, as I was saying, design absolutely awesome. I really like the business suit. She has like she just looks freaking cool. She's a sniper user. The hair color is great. I love the side braid as well that ends up into a ponytail. I think she looks fantastic. Now, let's see here. Since you don't like caramel, then give it all to me. Nobody likes burnt sugar anyway, right? Then I'll just take care of it for you. No need to thank me. Okay, so she's kind of like a tsundere. She's like, oh, it's not like I like caramel, but like, you know, I'm sacrificing myself for you. I'm this nice. Commander, come here. Makiatto gets jealous when she sees the commander with other dolls. Oh my god, of course. Look, I mean, Makiatto is the one... A lot of people have seen this one, but like in the dormitory, when you're watching like the scary movie, she's the one that's like, ah, it's so scary! And she like shakes you in fear. So that's her. So obviously she's soon, but she really does like the commander. Look, this fluffy puppy is just like a child. Makiatto adores fluffy animals and instinctively treats them like children the moment she sees them. This endearing habit, though unconscious, often leaves her feeling both exasperated and slightly embarrassed afterward. Man, she's great. I love her already. No need to thank me or anything, I just happened to help out, that's all. Makiatto started getting used to interacting with more people and takes the initiative to help them, but will absolutely never admit it. When saying, she becomes visibly flustered and defensive. Yeah, she's literally just a tsundere that likes cute things. It is what it is. Big mood. I love cute things. I love fluffy things, especially like cats and like Pomeranian dogs. How did you end up with a mouth full of sand? Make sure to check your protective gear properly before heading out, you idiot. It's like I was worried about you or anything. It's a good thing you didn't get hurt this time. Oh my god, the amount of tsundere is absolutely bananas. So anyway, there she is. If this is your kind of, you know, if you like tsundere, she's here for you, clearly. Now, outside of, you know, her looks and her personality, we also have a kit. And why did I say that it makes sense that she's coming out? The reason why is because she's actually a freeze character, which is going to be the same element as Suomi, and they're going to be absolutely incredibly strong together. So we're going to go over here to the Wikipedia. Big props to those lads making this website. And we're going to check out her kit. So she is a mix of physical and freeze damage. So basic attack, it's classic. You just get that 80% attack. Physical damage to one enemy. There you go. It's a 9 tiles radius because she's a sniper rifle user. Obviously, she has heavy ammo and long range. Very, very cool. Now, moving on. Her active skill is cold and sharp. This is going to be her first skill. It has a 2-turn cooldown, which is not that much. And you select an enemy target within 9 tiles, so that's a classic range. And you will deal 130% attack to that enemy. On top of that, if you deal crit damage, if it is a critical hit, the damage percentage will increase to 140% instead. It's not absolutely bananas, but if you consider that it's going to be a crit, so it's going to be 140 that then gets multiplied by the crit. So it's a significant enough increase to her damage, which is not bad at all. So there you go. Now, moving on, we have Professional Means, which is going to be our second ability. It's a 3-turn cooldown. Essentially, you select an enemy, you deal physical damage to them, so you're 100% of your physical damage to them, and you gain 4 Confectance Index points. Confectance Index points is what you use for certain skill, and generally the ultimate. On top of that, you will obtain 2 stack conventional strategies. What does it do? It will reduce the amount of range damage that you receive by 25%. Every time you take a hit, you lose 1 stack, and you can stack it up to 3 times. Essentially, you use this, you get 2 stacks, so will reduce 25% twice. It's pretty good as a sniper. She is most likely going to be in a faraway position, so people attacking her are going to deal range damage to her. So she has that defensive ability. So this is a nice ability. Obviously, it's not freeze damage, it's physical, but she deals damage. It's stronger than a basic attack. She gets a defensive buff, and she gains a massive 4 Confectance Index points, which is a lot. Very, very nice. Now, moving on to ulti, it's a 3-turn cooldown. You obtain an Ice Shield and Alert, which lasts for 2 rounds. So, Ice Shield here is, this is probably a Frost Barrier. I think this just comes to translation. So, the idea, the Ice Shield is equal to 65% of her attack up to a maximum of 80% of her max HP. And essentially, if the Ice Shield is broken, that's why I'm saying it's like the Frost Barrier, because this essentially functions the same as Suomi. When the shield is broken, it freezes the enemy for 1 round, right? Very powerful. Now, what is the alert? When the Ice Shield is still available, which means that it either lasts 2 turns or until the Ice Shield is broken, when an enemy within range, which is going to be, you know, a range of 9 square, essentially 9 grid. If an enemy is trying to either use a basic attack or an active skill, you, on a friendly unit, you will do a preemptive counterattack. Preemptive means that the counterattack goes off before the enemy's skill goes off, which means that potentially you kill them even before they use their attack, which is incredibly powerful. This is such a strong defensive tool, because you might just essentially cancel out the enemy if you're able to kill them on the spot, right? Very powerful. This is going to be ice damage equal to 80%, so this is in the same kind of percentage of scaling that you see on the basic attack, but this is ice damage instead, so that's obviously awesome. It does 2 points of stability damage, and it applies Stiff Cold, which is a debuff, right? Which lasts for 1 round and can be triggered up to 2 times per round. It cannot be dispelled. So Stiff Cold reduces the mobility by 1 tile for the enemy, and at the end of the enemy's action, if they have 2 stacks of Stiff Cold, it will be converted into Freeze. As a reminder, Freeze makes it so the enemy is unable to move or use active skills. So there we go, absolutely bananas. So now, just to keep in mind, there's a little bit of text here. The preemptive counterattack, it cannot be triggered by an ambush counterattack or support attack. So it has to be an active attack from the enemy or an active skill. Now, she has a passive, which is called Battlefield Insights. Essentially, if her HP at the beginning of the round is above 80%, she will get 30% crit chance and a reduce, she will lose 10% crit damage. So essentially, she has free 30% crit chance at the cost of some crit damage, But I think that the crit chance is definitely worth it, especially because she's gonna need it for her first active cold and sharp, because if she gets a crit, then she will deal more damage. So even though she loses some crit damage, it will still absolutely be worth it. Overall, it's a net increase. So moving on. When she attacks an enemy that has stiff cold, it will ignore 4 stability index points. So essentially, she ignores the enemy's defense, and she can directly hit into their HP. The damage caused to the target is increased by 15%. When attacking an enemy target that is frozen, she will instead ignore 6 stability index points, and the target's damage is going to be increased to 30%. It cannot stack, so, you know, there we go, that you know that. On top of that, when she gains insight here, on top of crit chance, blah blah blah, it will also increase the range of her ultimate by 1 tile. So there we go, absolutely bonkers passive. So why is she powerful with Suomi? The reason why is obviously Suomi, she has this aspect of like stacking avalanche, which will increase with, you know, the number of skill being activated, and it counts as a freeze debuff. She can freeze the enemy, obviously. She can do a lot of stability index damage, which will work very, very well with Macqiato here. And the more enemies are frozen or stiff cold, the more she's going to be able to ignore the enemy's defense, which is a very, very strong pair, essentially, right? So very powerful. There's a little bit more information that we can get from Pridwen this time, because here it doesn't give like the cost, the stability index cost for some reason. I'm not seeing it in the information there. But essentially, if we go here and we check her kit here for the Cyan potato, we do see that the first active skill cost 2 confectance points, and then the ultimate is doesn't cost anything, right? So essentially, when you're using your active skill here, you will get 4 points of confidence index, which allowed you to use your skill twice, which is very, very good. So very strong, very, very strong. We don't know exactly what the numbers are. They might have changed, etc., etc. But this is overall what you can expect from her, and it's going to be very, very powerful in my opinion, especially because she has a critical hit of 20% at base, with a passive that's going to go up to 50%. Shows she has a 1 in 2 chances to deal some good damage, and she's going to pair very well with Suomi. So obviously now we have a pretty good potential in terms of team that you want to build around Suomi. If you did pull for her, I think she's probably the character that you wanted to pull for anyway, so there she goes. So I think overall you can definitely do a team with like Suomi, Lota, she's also freeze damage, and then you can go for Makiatto, and finally you can have a tank like Sabrina or Groza. Groza obviously is free, so that's a very easy add-on to the team. Or if you feel like you need more HP, like healing ability, you can go for Xenia or something like that if you didn't get a copy of Suomi. So now that we know that she's coming up next, the question is, do you get a dupe for Suomi or do you save for Macqiato? In my opinion, you can definitely save for Macqiato, and if you have way enough resources, I think that at this point it wouldn't necessarily be bad to actually get Suomi's weapon. And the reason why I said that is that Suomi's weapon actually increases her entire team freeze damage by 10% at base. And now, like, yeah, before you only had Suomi and Lota, so it was like, okay, 10%, is it really worth it? I feel like not necessarily, but now that we actually have Macqiato coming up, the question could be asked. Because now you have 3 characters that deal freeze damage, 2 of them being DPSs. The 10% freeze damage increase could be worth it. Now, obviously, Suomi can get a lot of healing thanks to her first duplicate. It will make her ulti heal for 30%, which is incredible. That's definitely an option. So personally, I would say save for Macqiato. If you have enough resources, either get her weapon to increase your team's damage or get a duplicate to increase her healing ability. That's kind of up to you. Now, we don't know if there's gonna be a double banner yet. That might be the case. I'll keep you updated if anything is posted. We could expect something new to be dropped tomorrow. So yeah, stay tuned. I'll let you know. We still have a week to decide anyway, so you can still take your time before pulling. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.